Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 13th of September 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, guys, so I hope you can hear me okay. I do apologize a little bit for the quality of the video. I'm still trying to sort it out, and hopefully next week we'll get back to normal. And like I said, but for now, like I said, I do apologize for the quality of the video. So I hope you can hear me, and I hope you can see me still. So. As always, before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, but specifically our JFD research page, which you can always check out for information here. So for different analysis that we do on a daily basis, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here for yourselves, guys. So yep, feel free to jump over here and have a look at different analysis that we do. But for now, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the S&P 500. I looked at this one last week, basically, and I haven't touched it for a while. And of course, it's moving in a similar fashion as the Dow and the Nasdaq, which I've covered lately. But looking at this picture here, and as you can see by the arrow that I've got drawn here, we haven't touched this for a while. So basically, this is what I was saying, that initially it might do this little curve here to the downside, maybe test this tentative upside line, and then push again to the upside. So it did push to the upside, but then kind of never tested this upside line. So in a way, we can just get rid of this arrow for now. What we're gonna be focusing here on is, of course, this 3028 zone. So looking at the cash index right now, we are not far from the yesterday's close, so it could be around here somewhere. But it will be very interesting to see if the index actually finally, gets again towards this all-time high level, and if it manages to break this and create a new all-time high. So this would be very interesting to see. If it happens today, that's quite interesting. That's quite a way of finishing the week. But if it stays below here, below this 3028 zone, then maybe this is something left for next week. So, in other words, as long as it remains trading above this tentative upside line, we will remain positive as well. So, in a way, actually, instead of me getting rid of that little curve here, this little arrow, now I need to draw a new one. So, basically, long story short, guys, even if it doesn't travel today towards a new all-time high here, or should I say, doesn't create a new all-time high, doesn't reach the previous all-time high at 3028 zone around there, then we may see this one correcting back down a little bit here. But as long as it remains above the this upside line here, we will stay positive. We will continue pushing. We'll continue aiming higher, and especially going into next week. For us to get excited with the downside now at this point in time, ideally we would like to see initially, of course, a break of this upside line, and just for that extra confirmation, a drop below the 2990 zone. So this is when we will start considering lower areas. But the more important one for us is going to be this one right here. And let me just quickly draw this one. Let me actually just recycle some of these lines here. Probably it will be better. So this is the level that we're going to be keeping a close eye on here, and that's approximately around the 2,962 zone. So in a way, just for that extra better confirmation of the further declines, this is the level that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. A drop below this could in a way do the trick here for the sellers, and we could see this one sliding to the downside again. So for now, of course, as long as it remains above this upside line here, we will stay positive. We will continue targeting higher levels, and it will be very interesting to see where it ends today. If it manages to create a new all-time high here, and to do that, it needs to break the 3,028 level. So basically, keep an eye on this one, guys. It's very interesting developments. For now, the whole kind of sentiment is on the risk-on side, so that's why there is a possibility for this one to push further north. Jumping into a few other interesting pairs. So GBPUSD. So the pound is on fire today. Let's put it that way. So this is what I talked about previously in one of my videos where I was covering GBPUSD. So basically, we needed to see a nice good pop above the 1.2380 before we could examine a further move higher. Now, initially we were targeting the 1.2416, 15 zone, but that got wiped out easily, and the pair continued to travel higher. So as you can see, it managed to reach an area, and let me just quickly put this one on the chart. It managed to reach an area around the 1.247675 zone, from which it kind of reversed back to the downside. So in a way, what are we expecting here right now is if it doesn't travel again towards the 1.2475 zone, we may see a bit of a correction here to the downside. And if it, let's say, stays above the 1.2415 area, then there is a good chance for this one to reverse and push back to the upside here. So for those who are more on the cautious side, you can just wait this one out and wait until we see a push above the 1.2475 zone. For those who are more adventurous, wait for let's say wait for a slide here and keep an eye on this level here, the 1.2415. If it struggles to push below it, then we could see this one curving up and pushing back to the upside here. Our target for now is around the 1.2518 zone, 1820, something like that. That's marked near the highs of the 25th of July. Of course, it could travel further north, but we'll go step by step. First, let's see if it actually manages to reach this level. But in order to consider this level, we need to see a nice good clear break above the 1.2475 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. In terms of the downside, short-term downside, well, we could start looking at lower levels if we see a drop back below the 1.2380 zone. What you could also do here is you could in a way draw this tentative upside line as well, just for the sake of it. But to be honest, don't rely on this too much. It's a bit of a very tentative, because either you draw it here, either you capture this little area, or you capture this one right here. So in a way, that's why this becomes very tentative, and I wouldn't rely on this one too much. What I would rely on mostly is, of course, the support and resistance level. So so keep your eyes on some of these. The 1.2380 could be that trigger point for the downside here, a little bit of downside, but for those who are very cautious, very careful, the 1.2310 zone, that's what you should be looking at in order to consider further declines here, because if we see a drop below this, then this could open the path back down towards the 1.2233 or even below that. So keep your eyes on this one. GBPUSD, also quite an interesting one, also had a nice spike to the upside today, and this is what I talked about in one of my videos. Let me just quickly remind myself. I believe that was on the 11th, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and sorry, on the 12th in the morning. This is what I was talking about. On the 12th, in my Trader's Espresso, I talked about this potential kind of triangle formation here And what I was saying, that we needed to see a clear breakthrough. One of these levels, well, not only the one of these lines here, but also we needed to see a clear breakthrough one of the resistance or support levels here. So we got our break. We had a nice spike through the 1.8064 zone, and as you can see that the pair traveled higher. It did try to make its way towards the R3 and around the 1.8160 zone, 60, 62, something like that, but failed to do that by a few pips here, and we saw this one retracing back down a little bit. So in a way, what could happen here is this could, given the sharp kind of uprise here, there is a possibility maybe to see a bit of a correction, let's put it that way. But the more important thing here to watch will be this 1.80 64 60 zone, approximately around there. If it struggles to drop below this, then we could see another leg of buying here. We could see this one curving up and pushing to the upside. Our target on the upside here is the 1.8233, and then we'll take it from there. Then we'll see what he wants to do after. If it wants to travel higher, that's good news for the bulls. But for now, like I said, be very careful. Like I said, it did try to make its way towards the 1.8162, 61, but failed to do so. It got stopped around here near the well, it got stopped higher here, not far from that level, but as you can see, the 4-hour candle is kind of really well. The previous 4-hour candle closed in around the middle of the in between the R2 and R3, so that's a nice sweet spot here, and you can see this is where the rate is currently balancing as well. So basically, it's finding it difficult to kind of continue pushing higher. And to be honest, this is also an important level because of the this is the high of the 5th of September that we had here. So that's where it is currently trading at. It's currently kind of balancing above this, and if it struggles to push above this, then as I said, we could see this one sliding back down. But if it struggles to break below this 1.8064 zone, then well, we could see this one curving up and pushing back to the upside. In terms of the downside on this one, well, it's a bit of a tricky one. So in a way, what you could do here is, of course, let's get rid of this line. This is no longer valid. We are now trading above this, nicely above this upside support line, taken from the low of the 30th of July. And of course, for those who are more conservative, you could in a way wait until we see a drop below this upside line, and a drop maybe below the and actually it wouldn't be this level right now, it would be this little low right here at 1.7877, or in a way 1.7878 zone. You could put it as a nice beautiful number here. So we could wait for this, but the only thing is that to be honest, this is quite a big move here to miss out. So in a way, if we start seeing a drop and we see a nice good close below the 1.8064 zone, or even a 60 if you want to have a nice round number, keep your eyes on this one. 1.8060, a nice good close. Even if a daily candle, that would do the trick, that could do the trick, I would say, and we could see this one sliding back down towards the upside line here. So for now, guys, be very careful with this one. It's currently balancing at at the level here at the high of 5th of September. Let's see how this is going to play out today. If it slides a little bit lower back down here, this could be a little correction here before another leg of buying. Euro dollar. This is what I talked about this morning as well. So basically, we had a nice push to the upside, and this is what it played out perfectly. I mean, to be honest, I'm a bit smug about myself on this one, but finally got it right. So it managed to get a hold up near this downside line, and this is what it's doing right now. It's trying to travel back below the 1.1085 zone. I do apologize for the amount of lines here, guys, but it is trying to kind of travel back down. If it remains today below this downside line and below the 1.1085, well, I mean, this could be interesting next week. This could have a nice good chance of moving further down, but we'll of course we'll take it from there, see how it performs. In case this, let's say, decides to reverse suddenly and breaks above the this downside line here and pushes above the 1.1129 zone, then, well, I mean, we could consider slightly higher levels, and it will be very interesting to see if it actually can travel further north. But again, for now, and as long as it remains below this downside line, we are going to be somewhat bearish, and we are going to be looking at slightly lower areas. So that's why, guys, for now, be very careful with this one, and let's see how this is going to play out. For now, like I said, let's keep an eye on the 1.1085. Today's Friday. Check out, like I said, keep an eye on this one. This is also coinciding here with the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and if it stays below this, then there is a slightly bigger chance for this one sliding back down here. So let's pick up on this one on Monday and see how it performed by the end of today. So EURCAD, another interesting one. So CAD is the weaker one today, and you can see that EURCAD kind of exploded to the upside nicely, broke this downside resistance line. Of course, it broke it yesterday, but it continued to move higher. It continued to move above this 1.4630 something to 35 zone, approximately a 38 zone. It traveled a little bit higher, tested the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart. It slightly overshot it and tested our other key area of resistance near the 1.4692 zone, which marks the high of the 4th of September. For now, this is going to be the level that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. The only thing is that let's not exclude a possibility of a bit of a correction here back down, maybe something like this where it could travel lower, test the 1.46 38 37 zone. If it struggles to push below it, it could rebound nicely here and push back up here, and if we see a nice good break above the 1.4692, then yep, we will aim for higher levels, and one of the higher levels that we're going to be targeting here is going to be around the 1.4766 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. In terms of the downside here, well, we'll take a very conservative approach for now and monitor this 1.45 zone, 1.4505. This way the pair would travel back below this downside resistance line and could slide further down. So that's why, guys, for now, in terms of the downside, the only downside that we'll consider is a possible correction. If it travels below the 1.4638, then this is going to be our little neutral territory, and we're not going to touch this one for now. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's USDCHF. I talked about this one this morning as well, and basically what I was saying, that if we see a drop below the 0.9886 zone, then yep, we could see this one sliding further down. Initially, we will target the 0.9854, 55. It had a fantastic test of that, but kind of you can see that it reversed quickly. The bulls quickly pushed it back. So for now, even though the bulls are trying to get back into the game here, if the pair remains below the 0.9886 zone, then well, it still has a good decent chance to move back down here and test the lower side of the rising channel here. In terms of the upside, we need to see at least a push above the 0.9920 zone before we could examine slightly higher level. So again, like I said, for now, be very careful with this one. Keep an eye on the 0.9885, 86 zone. If it struggles to push above this and starts reversing, then there is a good chance we could see this one sliding back down here towards the lower side of the rising channel. Okay, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Once again, I do apologize for the quality of the whole video. I'm still trying to work on the internet issue that I'm having right now, so hopefully that's going to get sorted next week, in the first half of next week. But like I said, I thank you very much for your patience, and thank you very much for sticking around. It wasn't a very clear week this week, so Yeah, that's why, guys. Again, like I said, apologies for that. But I hope you're gonna join me next week. Like I said, I'll try to fix the connection here and the whole kind of quality, the video quality, and I hope you'll be happy. Thank you very much, guys, for sticking around and watching it till the end. And I wish you a very nice weekend. Thank you very much, and bye bye.